Hello, everyone, and welcome to another beautiful day. This is Global Morning on Global Television, reaching you live and direct from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. It is Tuesday. For some persons, it is a rainy day. For some other persons, it is a cloudy day. But then, let's see how the day is going to be unfolded. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A special welcome to everyone. As usual, I'm not here alone. Jumai Manson is seated. I want to use the word gorgeously seated right here. And of course, it's going to be a wonderful day. Good morning, Jumai.
Good morning, Ramsey. It's great doing this side by side with you.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day. It's a cloudy morning. And in some parts, like you said, it's a rainy morning.
Yeah.
But all the same, we are here, we are happy, we're alive, and we're grateful to God. I am Jumai Manson, and it's great to be here on Global Morning.
Yes, it's great to be here on Global Morning.
Yes, it
Remember
is.
that every day comes with its own ups and downs.
Yes, it
depends
does.
on how you decide to handle the day.
Yes.
Now, the security situation. There's nothing you say in Nigeria now that you don't mention security
Yeah,
situation.
that's true.
You know, if it is not mass abduction, all right, it is kidnapping, going into people's house. If it is not kidnapping, it's assassination.
Yes,
So sometimes I think of what is happening in our country. Nigeria, back in the days, I know I'm still a young man, but then back in the days, you know, it wasn't like this.
No, it wasn't.
Growing up, we were very proud to be Nigerians. Travel at night. I could remember travel from Benue all the way to Kano State in a luxurious bus, all at night. You travel at night and you say, good morning, Kano, you know, good morning, Lagos, and all of that. But things like that can't really happen now, even though some people are still risking it, despite, because there are some businesses, all right, that warrant such travels, even though it's minimal, because you need to have what we call liver in the palace language to be able to travel at night, you know. But then all the same, the authorities have said they are doing everything possible to ensure that the security situation become a thing of the past. But we've heard that over and over and over again.
Yes, we have.
We've had change of service chiefs. We've had collaboration with other countries who are experts in curbing terrorism.
Yes.
And here we are. I'm still waiting. I saw a headline on social media: school children released. So my mind quickly went to Oyo, you know, but then we've not heard, all right, that these kids have been released. And the painful aspect of it is that these are children.
Yes.
How are they faring right now? You know, sometimes if it doesn't happen to you,
you wouldn't understand.
Oh my God, you wouldn't know how painful it is. You know, I sit down to think, how are the parents feeling? Being without your child for a day, you know what it means. You're a mother. You know what I'm talking about.
But the thing is, you know, it's just unfortunate that this is where we are, and for these individuals, these terrorists, to stoop so low. For me, I feel they actually stooped so low to actually kidnap children. Barely 2 years, 2 years, 1 year plus, 3-year-old. It's very disheartening, and you cannot understand I don't understand where their heart is at this point. I just feel these individuals have actually stooped so low to take these children away from the warmth of their family. It's just unfortunate that this is where we are, but I'm glad, like we heard, that by the grace of God, insecurity will be a thing of the past by the grace of God in our country. And we know that the men and women in uniform, they're not resting when it comes to this matter of curbing this menace that we see. The one in Oyo that happened, unfortunately, in Orire, and of course in Borno also. It's just unfortunate that this is where we are right now. And insecurity is a major problem in Nigeria. People are afraid now. I have friends abroad who will say, how is it? We're hearing a lot of stories. Are you all safe? Like for someone, I would say it's them. What's our business? It won't come near us. Now that was what we thought when it was in the northeast. We're like, it's people in Maiduguri, Borno that will face all of these things. But now it's closer than you think. It's happening in Ibadan right now. It's happening in Katsina. It's happening in various states in Nigeria. So this is where we are, and everyone should be their brother's keeper. You shouldn't just say, okay, it's for the authorities alone. No. The only little way you can have the access you have to secure your own environment goes a long way. You must try the little you can. It's very important that people should come together, because, like I mentioned it yesterday, that these individuals went into an estate to kidnap people in their homes.
So they're safe.
Exactly. So you wonder where you think your home is safe, and you lock all the doors. And these individuals came armed with guns. You could see the bullet holes on the doors.
You're talking about an estate. What about people living in communities?
Exactly.
That are not fenced, open? People walk past at intervals, walk past through people's compound. Some persons are spies and all of that. So what will happen to them? I don't know. But then sometimes I'm being forced to think that maybe sooner or later this thing might even extend to the barracks. Who knows? If
it did once, a long time ago, where, of course, there was this year, I'm trying to remember, is it in 2020? Yes, I think, in 2020, where the rise of insecurity. I'm trying to remember the year. I know I was in Judge at that point, where there was a bomb blast that happened in that church. Exactly. I'm trying to remember the year. And the thing is that, for as much as we know, everyone has to be vigilant. And that's the truth. And I was telling people at a point, you see all these you call them abokis, that carry all of these irons and all of that. Some of them are not really genuine. Some of them are dangerous. Exactly. Some of them are really. You see, I've met some of them that come around, and you see these people. Some are really. It's just unfortunate that just the bad egg spoils. There are some that do this, and they are so kind. They do this because they want to have a source of living. But it's just that the bad eggs who have ulterior motives have just rendered all of them in the same pod, and it's just unfortunate. But all the same, for as much as it is, we have to vigil with individuals that come with their sewing machines, individuals that come into communities or estates, even so many. It could be anyone that comes in as a spy. Everyone has to be vigilant and be very careful.
What we have to do is just to be vigilant and ensure that as these people are coming around, we watch them
and ask questions. Please.
Some of them can be nice or a fault.
Oh yes.
Ulterior motive, like you said, people are generalizing right now.
Yeah, it's just
unfortunate. It is market for the good ones.
Exactly.
But all the same, whether good or bad, we just need to be careful.
Yes,
with everyone
be cautious.
Be cautious, be vigilant, cautious, be vigilant, be intelligent. Now let's talk a little bit about the economy of the nation. Well, some people felt that there was going to be an improvement. And I love Nigerians for one thing, and that's the issue of always being optimistic. Nigerians are always optimistic. People. They will tell you, all right, let's try this person. All right. They won't tell you categorically that this person is good. They will always use the word, let's try this person and see. He may be better than who was there before. During the election, you hear things like that. But some persons will tell you, well, I will try this one. It's not as bad as this. Imagine that kind of comparison. That's to tell you of the state of the nation and how our democracy has evolved in recent times. Because if you want to look at it from the time of Obasanjo all the way, you'll be wondering to Yaradua, to Jonathan, then you come to Buhari.
President Muhammadu Buhari, may so rest in peace.
Then you come to the present administration. You begin to think, put every one of them side by side, and you begin to do comparison. Nobody will tell you this is the best. They will tell you this one is better than this. Just maybe in a slightly. But one of the things that I saw in the news that actually interested me a little bit is that there is a little focus on agriculture. Back in the days, growing up, we remember how instrumental cocoa was to our economy.
Yes, it was.
Rubber, timber. I even knew someone that was exporting timber, and they were making cool money. Wow. But all of a sudden, all of these things went down the drain, and attention came on just fuel. Everyone concentrated on crude, oil. But it's so good, everyone, that I'm excited that the federal government has launched the distribution of 1 million improved hybrid cocoa seedlings. And they said this is going to be a part of the effort to revive Nigeria's cocoa industry,
which is good.
See, if you know the advantage of cocoa, and what it can be used for,
especially chocolate.
Kai, she loves chocolate. In case you don't know, she loves chocolate. You can't travel or you can't go anywhere. The first thing she would ask her is cocoa. So with this now, okay, look at I've already said one. You're already mentioning what cocoa can be used for. That see, now you depend on chocolates from outside the country.
Yes, I do.
Most times.
Yeah.
Because we are not utilizing what we have.
Exactly.
Even this cocoa is being exported.
Yes.
All right. Used for these things, I return back.
It doesn't make sense.
So many things. We have opportunity. Then sometimes I begin to wonder what kind of administrators or leaders do we have? You're looking for money and you're trampling on money.
I mentioned something, Ramsey. I said, once you are given an appointment, I do not work for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I do not work for the presidency. I work here in Global Television. But I have sat down as a Nigerian and I've said, the president has given directives to individuals to handle these particular sectors. Most individuals handling some sectors that try, coming out reforms and all of that, they're not really sure what their TOR is. That's terms of reference. It's okay. I understand divine arrangement when God puts you in a place. I understand that. But you as an individual, what have you done to better that particular sector? It's a question mark. If you are not competent enough, they are professors. They are individuals who that are knowledgeable, that understand how these things work. Get them on board to help you. You don't have to fold your arms and allow things to go south. I wonder, I say, everybody expects the president to come out and do this and do that, but really he cannot be everywhere. And he's human. And when you hear all of these things, Nigeria is happening to everyone. Everyone has what they have to say, but at the same time, let's be realistic here and let's be truthful. He cannot be everywhere. And if these individuals, I don't want to mention any names, do the needful, do the right thing. When it comes to insecurity, all governors are on their toes when it comes to trying to safeguard their territory.
Collecting security.
That is it. He cannot be everywhere. But these individuals that are there need to take the bull by the horn and do the right thing. I am telling you, if everyone does the needful and the right thing, once you are given an appointment or a particular office that you hold and you do the right thing, even when you are not professionally equipped enough and you get people on board to help you keep the ball rolling, we will not have this problem.
Do you know one thing? If in quote, if these people you're talking about would decide to do just 50% of what you're saying,
Nigerians don't ask for so much.
If they don't
ask for so much,
just 50%. But then I don't know what happened to people's conscience.
That is it.
You can't just be there and you're the only one smiling in an office or in a country and you're excited about it.
And you know what? The truth is, Ramsey,
it's demonic.
Even if it's not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is on the president's seat at this point, even if it's anyone else, it's the same blame game that people will come out if things are not working out right. It's the same thing. But individuals who are there should do the right thing. He cannot be everywhere.
He cannot be everywhere, as a matter of fact.
Cannot.
But then I think
it's not fair, really.
Those in authority owe it to all Nigerians
to do the needful.
Right, to do the needful. Nigerians are not asking for too much.
No, we're not.
So let all attention go back to agriculture. We have products. There are places in the West, all right, that if you drop a seed of cocoa, what you will get from it will amaze you. So let's give it a little attention and see what will actually come out of it. But then, as it is, we'll take a quick break so that we can bring you taste and Texture. Well, I wouldn't want you to salivate too much. Just give it a try. If it interests you, give it a try. Don't say, the only food we have in Nigeria is just swallow and rice and beans. Yes. So just give this one a try. All right. All right, let's get a quick break. After this break, we'll return and Global Morning continues.
Hello guys, this is to specially welcome you to this episode of Taste and Texture, and I assure you it will be as engaging as it will be eye-opening. On the show, we're going to prepare a tasty delicacy and we will be preparing it from scratch. In today's episode of the program, we'll be preparing French toast, which is always a delicious and simple breakfast option. Also, this breakfast French toast can be made very quickly by anyone. In addition to the speed and ease of making it, it is also fun to make. Ingredients: sliced bread, eggs, milk, salt, cinnamon, vanilla extract. Step 1. Break 2 eggs into a bowl and add a half cup of milk. Add a pinch of salt and a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Add a tablespoon of vanilla extract to add flavor and mix all together. Step 2. Get your sliced bread and dip it into the batter on both sides. Step 3. Lightly butter your pan and heat up. Step 4. Arrange the coated bread in the pan and fry it till golden brown. Turn to the other side to cook also. Serve your French toast with fresh berries and powdered sugar, or you can just enjoy it with syrup. There you have it, your breakfast French toast is ready. Enjoy! That's it on today's episode of the program Taste and Texture. Hope you will try this recipe in your various homes and hope you enjoyed the program. Join me same time next week for another episode of the program. It has been Saadatu Garba. Thank you for watching this installment of the program. Please join me next time for something fresh and inspiring.
Wow, that was delicious. Have you had French toast before?
French toast. I'm not from France. I'm from France, and I'm not a foodie.
I understand, but that was delicious. But you see how they drizzled the honey, the syrup. I'm sure it is that honey or syrup she drizzled on that bread. But it's so fantastic. You need to try it. Oh my gosh.
Is that why you were closing your eyes to say it?
It's fantastic. Anyway,
she almost broke into the television. She almost broke in there.
Really?
Please try having one today.
Maybe tomorrow. French toast. It's delicious. You should try it. It's mouth-watery and, of course, really nice. But let's get inspired at this point with Heart to Heart Inspirational by my co-host here. Do not go anywhere. Up next is Heart to Heart Inspirational. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to another beautiful day right here. It is Heart to Heart Inspirational, and of course my name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Your voice matters. That's what we want to look at today. Your voice matters. Okay, it doesn't matter when we say your voice matters. What are we talking about? Is it that you are talkative? Is it that you are loquacious? Is it that you are a lingua franca? You can speak a lot of languages. Is that what we mean when we say your voice matters? A lot of voices have gone down the drain today. A lot of good voices, all right? When we say your voice matters, are we talking about the fact that you can sing or you are a poet? No, it's beyond that. Let me give you something right now. Silence has cost the world many solutions. Somewhere, someone needed your voice, but you never knew. But one of the things that have stopped a lot of people, a lot of voices from being heard, a lot of opinions from being shared, a lot of talents from being manifested is fear. Fear of what will happen if it doesn't go my way. My voice, are you sure my idea is going to count? Are you sure my opinion matters?
Your voice is needed at several places for several reasons, but fear convinced you to stay quiet. You see what fear does? What is fear? In the actual sense of it, let me define fear for you. Fear is spelled F-E-A-R. Let me give you the acronym of fear. Fear is false evidence appearing to be real. That is false evidence appearing real. F for fear, E for evidence, A for appearing, then R for real. It is not real, but it's appearing to be real. You see, you've been quiet because of fear. You've been quiet because of maybe you feel you're going to be embarrassed, whereas you have a very good idea. Some people can never share their ideas. All right. I'm not saying you should share your vision to dream killers. That's not what I'm saying. Please, let's get this right, because I tell people all the time, it's not everybody you share your dreams with. If you are in doubt, please go and ask Joseph, his own brother. You remember what they did to him. I'm not saying you should share your dream with every Dick and Harry. Your plans, go and share your plans with everyone you see on the road. In fact, people, it's not even good to talk too much. Anywhere you go, you are just like a typewriter. 200 words in 1 minute. Habba. That's not the kind of speaking that I'm talking about. All right? Your voice carries story. It carries your experience. And it carries your perspective. And a lot of people will tell you that a closed mouth is a closed destiny. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. A lot of people cannot be helped because, number one, they don't know the right people to even talk to. A lot of people are talking to the wrong persons per time. First of all, you need to know where and when your voice is supposed to be heard. You need to know where and when you need to speak. You don't speak everywhere. You don't talk everywhere. You should not be predictable. When people see you, they should not say, you don't they come. We know. Then before you know what is happening, you landed the venue and 200 words per minute. And you're not even making sense with what you're saying. It's embarrassing. That's not the kind of voice that I'm talking about. The voice that comes with quality. The voice that comes with perspective to every situation. The voice that comes with an experience that someone can learn from and become successful in life. A voice that carries stories that stands the test of time. Do you know that you go to some places and you share your story or maybe an experience or a perspective and somebody catch their vision? Yes. Somebody might just be around there. This is somebody that has been thinking, all right, of what to do in life. What do I even need to do in life? What am I in life for? Some people are even thinking suicide because they don't know what to do. Life doesn't mean anything to them. Then you come there, you begin to share stories, you begin to share testimonies, you begin to say some kind of positive things, and these people begin to realize themselves. They begin to discover themselves, because in every word that you speak, somebody is hearing, and every word that you hear per time have an impact in your life, either negatively or positively. And that's the reason I tell people all the time, it's not everyone you listen to. Be careful what you hear all the time. Be careful who you give your ears to. Be careful who you share your moments with. What you have survived qualifies you to speak. What you've learned position you to help other people. You don't need to be a perfect person to be impactful. You don't need perfection to be impactful. That thing you are hiding, that story you are hiding, that idea you are hiding, that inspiration you are hiding could be something that can change somebody's life forever. A lot of us are supposed to be making impacts with our voices, but we are hidden. We are trampled in fear. You need authenticity, as a matter of fact. Let me give you an instance. This is just an illustration. A candle, we all know what a candle is. A candle doesn't just lose light by lighting another candle. All right? You get that? You light a candle, for instance, then you use that candle to light another candle. The first candle that you use in lighting the second candle does not lose its light. That is impact there. It has made impact, but it never affected it in any way. Now, your voice doesn't diminish others. It multiplies impact. That is, I'm talking about a positive voice, all right? A positive voice. Okay? There are some people that if they come and they speak, you hear wisdom. You spend 2 minutes with some persons. When they want to leave, you say, you'll be feeling bad. I wish this person can stay with me a little more time. Because these are people that their voices multiply impact. Maybe you knew something before. Why am I saying this? Let me establish this. I'm saying all of this so that you know the kind of people you listen to. You know the kind of voices you listen to. And you on your own part should know that your voice needs to be heard. Except you know the import of it. You will just keep quiet where you are supposed to speak. You are not making impact. It doesn't diminish you. If you make impact, it doesn't affect you. But then it's lighting somebody's word. Maybe to somebody that is downcasted, somebody that is about committing suicide, somebody who is feeling lonely, just a word from you can make somebody's day. Like I was telling someone some times back, just a smile, good morning, how you doing, can make someone feel big. Exchange of smile. By the time you smile to someone and the person smiles back, it's have a way of making people feel good, of setting people's day, a good pace for people's day. Stop minimizing your stories. Speak, even when your voice is shaky. Share what you know now, all right? Share what you know now. Because maybe by the time you want to speak it the next time, it may not be as valuable as it is when that inspiration comes. All right? When you have the leading to do it, go ahead and do it. Maybe you want to start a business, for instance, and there is someone around you need to speak to. Don't hold it back. If you have the leading to speak to the person, go ahead and do it. Your voice, okay? Your voice is someone else's breakthrough, in case you don't know. All right? Your voice is someone else's breakthrough, but you may not know that. Okay? Your voice, your own voice, is somebody else's breakthrough. Open your mouth. Speak the truth. Speak it out. The world is waiting for your sound. The world is waiting for your manifestation. The world is waiting for you to let that thing out of you. Especially when you know it's inspiring. Especially when you know it's going to stop someone from maybe committing suicide. Because a lot of people are confused in this generation. They don't even know what to do. And that's why you have a lot of photocopy. We have few originals. A lot of people are duplicates of other people's ideas, of other people's lifestyle, of other people's opinion. But you got a voice. Your voice can shape somebody's destiny forever. What are you waiting for? What are you scared of? Fear has stopped a lot of people from doing so many things, from taking a particular step they need to take. But today, I want to charge you. I want to inspire you. I want to speak to your heart that your voice, there are people today. Let me say this. I think I need to say this because you don't know who is listening to what you're saying. In that meeting, in that gathering, all right, you don't know if your destiny helper is there. Maybe a contribution that you want to make as you're trying to make sense on time, it will give the person by your side, all right, an inspiration, an acumen, okay, to become what they have been planning to be. Your voice might be a witness to what the Spirit is telling them, to what their mind is telling them, to what their instinct is telling them. So speak it out. Stop holding it back. Congratulations, everyone, listening to the sound of my voice right now, because you are a success, going somewhere to happen, a voice that the world will reckon with. And as expectation of a lot of creature is the manifestation of people like you. Go, manifest, voice it out, say it. The truth, you should be known with saying the truth all the time. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.
All right, you're welcome back. Hope you are well inspired with heart-to-heart inspirational with my co-host Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Ramsey, thank you so much. Fantastic.
You're welcome. This is what we do. Sometimes the mind can go here, go here.
It can play tricks.
If you're not careful,
plays tricks, right? Yeah,
it's an issue. So we need to know certain things about the mind. Just heart to heart. It penetrates more when it's heart to heart.
Yes, I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Heart to
heart.
All right, moving away from heart-to-heart inspirational, let's delve into the newspaper review segment. And we're going to start with the first paper of the day. It's a Daily Independent. And above the nameplate, it says, DSS arraigns 5 for hiding Timipere Silva's whereabouts. And next says NNPC posts 462 billion naira profit for May as oil output rises to 1.73 mbpd. And below the nameplate it says Unified FX regime stabilizing public finance, FG claims. And of course the rider says it is helping states unlock, deploy resources. And below that on page 6, it says Supreme Court launches digital case management system. And on page 7, it says DSS arrests former Minister Uche Inaji. On page 7, it says Court grants Desani's plea to present UK acquittal verdict in EFCC case. And on page 29, it says Tinubu asks Justice Youth Ministries to begin NYSC Act amendment. And that's a step in the right direction, basically. And on page 29, again, it says Atiku calls for probe into power sector intervention spending. And below that, it says CBN crackdown on 46 MFBs, strongest move in years. And there are two riders there. It says experts say action, clear warning to financial sector. NDIC moves to liquidate failed lenders. And at the foot of the paper, it says Obi promises roadmap to curb government abuse, economic decline. And that is on page 6. Basically, those are major headlines on the Daily Independent. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with the major issues making round. Next, we have the Vanguard.
All right, let's quickly look at the Vanguard newspaper for everyone this morning. We have a lot of headlines right there. And we want to begin with the big story. This story is really big. You know why? I'll tell you. Why APC ditched Soswan 25 NAS candidates? Well, Soswan is someone that I know very well. And of course, the politics in Benue State, after the conduct of the primaries, he got home. But then, just for the name to get into the portals, there was a change, and 25 NAS candidates were also affected. But then governors, some sitting senators, some sitting House of Rep members, are returning. Now, let's look at the riders to that story right here. The first rider says Suswan was sacrificed to please Akume. That is source. I don't know. Suswan was sacrificed to please Akume. Because when the first list came out, the list, according to what was in the media space, they say the list of Akume's candidates, all right, was not included after the primaries. None of them won. But now, the rider is saying Suswan was sacrificed, all right, to please Akume. That is the secretary to the federal government. Then the second rider say party moves to resolve ticket crisis. My presidency will unite Nigeria for human capital development. That's coming from Peter Obi. The details you can find on page 9. NYSC, that's the kicker. Deployment to security challenge states will be guided by risk assessment. This coming from Tinubu, and you can find it detailed on page 8. A state please mechanism to stop governors' abuse on the way. All right, meaning even the Senate is aware that there could be possible abuse of the state police, and they said, well, those panicking, you don't have to panic because there is a mechanism that will be put in place to checkmate that. Well, I spoke with, in one of my programs, I spoke with someone who is an SSA to the Senate president, and he was trying to advance some mechanisms how the state police will be checkmates, all right, so that there's no too much of abuse, even though you may not be able to take that away 100%. More headlines coming from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. This one says school abduction. Oyo teachers suspend strike. Details on page 15. Alleged coup plot. DSS docks 5 for hiding ex-governor Silva's whereabouts. Okay. More still coming from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The seized asset. The court okays the Zionist request to tender evidence of acquittal in UK. Discuss and expose on Herbert Makule, the first Nigerian nationalist. This is coming from Bode Judge. Then, of course, we have this one which says Nigeria must not witness another civil war. This is coming from Baba himself, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Olusegun Obasanjo is saying, well, Nigeria must not witness another civil war. We don't know what he's seen or whatever he has seen that warranted that statement, meaning we need to tread with a lot of care. And finally, from the Vanguard newspaper, CBN revokes 46 microfinance banks licenses. Someone posted something yesterday and he said, well, check this list in case your bank is inclusive, all right, because some of these micro banks are not meeting up to central bank's demand.
No, they're not.
Some people have been defrauded because they bank with microfinance, and some are doing very well. There's a microfinance bank that was doing very, very well, but all of a sudden it went into instinct. I don't want to call the name of the microfinance.
Please don't.
Yeah, I won't. So just check that out in case the microfinance bank that you're operating is part of the ones affected by this. Now we move from the Vanguard newspaper and get to the next point of call, which is the Daily Times.
All right, now the Daily Times newspaper, above the nameplate here, it says here, CBN revokes licenses of 46 microfinance banks. And of course, Ramsey read that through on the previous paper. And on the business segment, it says how Nigeria's oil shortfall puts 2026 budget under pressure, Naira stability. And on the Star story says 2027, my vision for productive, prosperous Nigeria. And that is from Obi. And the writer says, I'll unite Nigeria for robust human capital development. And below all of that, on page 2 on the Daily Times, it reads here, ex-minister Uche Naji arrested at Abuja airport over alleged certificate forgery. Now, that's a major concern. And it says, Sowore released on bail, launches 2027 presidential campaign. Basically, those are the major headlines on the Daily Times. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed with the issues making round. Next, we have the blueprint.
All right, let's quickly look at the blueprint for you and see what's printed on that blueprint. All right, above the nameplate, we have some very striking headlines. Troops neutralize 662 terrorists. Arrested 1,084 suspects in 3 months. This is coming from Defense Headquarters. This one says Alia Ondoka condemned Benue attack. The attack in Benue has become too frequent, and of course, something needs to be done. There is a panic going on in Benue over the death of the chairman of Miyetti Allah, but then I think there is need to intensify security in Benue State as a whole. More headlines coming from the Blueprint newspaper this morning. This one says, Senate primaries, that's the kicker. Goje Nedmoko Echocho. 18 others fail APC review for scale hurdle. Well, one of them said, he was promised he was going to return.
Okay.
Then I was trying to ask myself.
He was promised.
Yes, that he was going to return.
That was why he defected.
That's why he defected.
Okay.
Now he's not returning.
And then what happens now?
I wonder what he's going to tell his gods. You know, sometimes when politicians talk, when they speak, you'll be thinking, let me assess the cerebral, let me assess the cerebrum, let me assess the medulla, let me assess. You know, you'll be thinking, you say, how do they really reason? Politics is a game. It's either you're a politician or you're a businessman. It's just discovering yourself. You mustn't be there.
You must.
So a lot of people are disgruntled right now.
Yes,
a lot of people are dissatisfied because of what happened in these primaries. And that's the reason a lot of people are saying there might be implosion. And some will tell you there is already an implosion going on because a lot of people are going to fight against their party being members of the same party because they are not satisfied. This primaries, I was excited, of course, when I heard it was going to be direct primaries. I was like, wow, this is going to be beautiful because we'll have people queue and they count. But then the counting was altered. Someone told me, he said, well, the kind of counting they saw during the primaries is different from what they were taught in primary, secondary, and university level. And of course, some said the primaries never held in their location at a polling unit. But then there were candidates that emerged without the primary election. Look at what happened in Benue State. I just read about Suswan. Somebody has gotten hope. He was a former governor of Benue State. He, normally after governorship, a lot of them return to the Senate. But then, look at after the primaries, he was given hope that he won. But uploading the name of winners, candidates into the portal after INEC released the code, we started seeing a lot of drama.
Yes, we did.
A lot of drama.
A lot.
And unfortunately, they said, according to the paper, they said he was sacrificed to please Akume. There is a lot of political tussle in Benue State, especially in Benue State. And I don't think it's far-fetched from the issue of godfatherism.
No, it's not.
I'm the owner of the state. I am the big boy of the state and all of that.
Yes,
but then 2027 is around the corner. Just keep your fingers crossed and see how it's really going to go. Back to the papers. Now, the Blueprint newspaper, where we are bringing you some headlines right here. Well, try again. That's all I have to say to Goje Nedmoko Echono and the rest of them. Now this one says CBN revokes licenses of 46 microfinance banks. Right, details of that you can find on the Blueprint newspaper, and of course the full page has been bought over, all right, by the Renew Hope FCT, that is the wiki commissioning going on. All right, so we move from the Blueprint newspaper and go to the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have on the Guardian.
All right, on the Guardian newspaper, let me see. It says here on page 3, below the nameplate, INEC chairs rules citizens' loss of confidence in electoral process. And on page 22, it says Nigeria's unrecorded spending hits 2% of GDP, says IMF official. And on page 3, it says coup attempt, DSS dog Silva's associates over ex-governor's whereabouts. And the star story on the Guardian newspaper says here, Nigerians hopeful of lower prices, relief as FG slashes tariffs. And that's on page 6, pardon me. And below all of that, it says here, Obasanjo warns against conflict, says 1967 civil war triggers persist. And that's cause for worry now, and that's on page 4. And it says, flooding, Lagos begins removal of illegal structures, vows stricter enforcement. And that's on page 12. And on page 6, it says, APC faces backlash over revised National Assembly tickets. And below that, it says here, NUT suspends strike, directs Oyo teachers to resume work today. And next says, next Women's worsen insecurity despite 3.15 trillion naira defense budget. And it says that Nigeria secures fresh $1.75 billion World Bank facility amid rising debt concerns. And that read you will find on page 22. And basically those are all the headlines making rounds on the Guardian newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed with the issues making round. Next we have The Punch.
All right, let's quickly look through The Punch in a jiffy and see what we have right there on The Punch newspaper, beginning from the big story, which is making rounds today on The Punch. It says INEC APC may clash over official Senate list. Another clash again? Well, I don't know, but then, I don't know, but then 2027 is going to be interesting. Some writers to that story. The first writer say APC replaces 7 Senate candidates amid ticket horse trading in 9 states. It was in the public domain yesterday. A party intervention forces Alia Ayedatiwa Akume Tunji Ojo into high stakes deal. Right, INEC to recognize only candidates from monitored primaries. That's where the problem is coming from. Electoral umpire. Monitored primaries.
Yes, it is.
This is where the question is. Monitored primaries. It means, I don't know, but this sounds indicting if what we are hearing is actually true. Because there were statements unconfirmed that the primaries never held at some locations, at some polling units, in some councils, maybe some states or so. But now INEC is saying they will only recognize candidates whose primaries were monitored. So who and whose primary was monitored? What will happen to places where there were no primaries? Possibly they could say what they had there was consensus. So who is going to be the consensus candidate? These are the questions we should be asking. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed and see what the electoral umpire will come up with. More headlines from the Punch newspaper this morning. Above the nameplate, fake agency scandal. Presidency faces heat as federal government prosecute controversial DG. One writer to that story. Ofalano faults presidency, urges EFCC to probe Bajabiamila Adeyemi. All right, I think the presidency did a disclaimer yesterday. A World Bank approves $1.25 billion Nigeria loan despite debt concern. Details you can find on page 20. Dealers await clarity as green vehicle tax begins. We'll be looking at some taxing things this morning in our discussion. PSC names 13 new AIGs. Clears 93 police promotions. Lagos flood. Residents fault Air Force fence. Block drainage. All right. DSS arraigned 5 over alleged cover-up of Silva's whereabouts. Those are the headlines from the Punch newspaper this morning as we move to the next point of call, which is the Nation newspaper.
All right, now the Nation newspaper, above the nameplate on page 20, says Tinubu's exit benefit scheme, new pact with workers. And still on page 2, it says DSS arraigns 5 for concealing Silva's whereabouts. And on page 3, it says petrol price, NMDPRA puts marketers under close watch. And below the nameplate, it says presidency awaits outcome of criminal matter against Adeni Matthew. That's on page 3. The Star Story says INEC, our 93 million voter register contains names of deceased. And here it says we passed FCT Ekiti poll test, says Amputon. And it says governors ready for state police, says Oyebanji. And I'm still on the Nation. It says governor slashes customs levies on imported vehicles. And at the foot of the Nation, it reads here, CBN revokes 46 microfinance banks licenses. And it says DSS hands over ex-minister Inaji to ICPC after arrest. And that read is on page 6. And basically, those are all the major headlines. Next, we have the Daily Trust.
All right, let's look at the Daily Trust, which is going to be the last day from the national dailies. And on the Daily Trust this morning, we have some very striking headlines that I'll be bringing to you. The big one, which is the Star Story, it says presidency clears Gbajabiamila amid concern. I talked about that earlier, all right? Well, I think they somehow have the final say. Now, this one says 10 killed in fresh attack on Benue community. CBN revokes licenses of Merchant Microfinance Bank, 45 others. And of course, 2027, why APC replaced candidates. Well, I think the reason might differ for different states or wards. Those are the headlines that we have for you today from the Daily Trust newspaper. And of course, this is going to be the size of the newspaper review for this morning. I want to go into the next discussion, the first discussion for the day, and we would also like to inform you that Global Television does not have editorial contribution to any of the headlines that was brought to you this morning.
And then with all of that said, up next is Social Buzz with Ogochukwu Mobono. Stay tuned.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all. From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues,
Always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables, better than the best.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
and on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Boss Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Around the world, it's time to look at buzzing issues making the rounds on social media. Today we're looking at a trending issue away from the xenophobic attack in South Africa and the March on March protests happening right away in South Africa, including the flood in Ghana and also some parts of Nigeria, Lagos to be precise. And also we saw the heat waves in different parts of the country, including different parts of the world, including France. Well, we're taking that aside and we are focusing our energy on a very important and trending topic right now on social media. 27 weeks pregnant woman denied entry into USA. A 37 weeks pregnant woman from Nigeria was reportedly trying to fly from the UK to the United States when a UK border officer named Sarah intervened. The goal was reportedly so the baby could be born on US soil and automatically receive American citizenship under the 14th Amendment, unlike in the UK where birth alone doesn't grant citizenship unless a parent is British or settled. Customs officers can deny entry to pregnant foreign nationals if they suspect the trip is solely for birth, tourism, or if there are concerns about medical costs. Well, let's take a look at that very video.
No, please don't beg me. She's in an advanced state of pregnancy. It's quite common for pregnant ladies to travel overseas so that they can have the baby in whichever country to automatically get that passport. What's your final destination today?
No, today.
Today?
Today in London.
Okay.
But I'm going to the US tomorrow.
You're going to the US tomorrow, okay. When you went for your American visa, did you tell the visa officer that you were pregnant? No. You didn't? No. Okay. Is there any reason why you didn't tell the visa officer that you were pregnant?
It didn't come up.
It didn't come up. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just
The woman is only 7 weeks away from giving birth, yet has decided to visit her sister in America, claiming she will return 3 weeks before her due
It says
date.
that you're fit to travel. Babies born in the UK don't automatically qualify for a British passport, but babies born in the US do automatically qualify for an American passport. So it's quite common for pregnant ladies to travel overseas so that they can have the baby in whichever country to automatically get that passport.
Sarah is suspicious of the woman's motive for travelling to the US via the UK, but she could also be in breach of airline regulations for travelling whilst pregnant.
When is she due?
5th of June.
When is her return?
16th of May. So she's got 3 weeks between her return date and her due date, which makes her 37 weeks pregnant, which is over every airline's limit.
The woman is in breach of the airline's policy, but as she has a valid US visa, Sarah must now contact the US Embassy.
Hi, it's Sarah. I'm at the airport at the moment. I just wondered if you could give a call to the American Embassy so that they can check an American visa for me. She's at the airport today and she's in an advanced state of pregnancy. So if you can just give them a call and find out if they're happy with that, and if so, then we can let her travel.
It's minutes before the flight leaves, but whether or not the pregnant woman will be on board is up to the US Embassy.
Right, okay, all right, I'll do that then. Okay, thanks very much. All right, thank you, bye-bye. Okay, that was the American Embassy and they want to speak to her today.
The flight will be leaving without the pregnant woman. Now Sarah must tell her the news.
So what I've done is I've contacted the visa man and explained your situation. What he'd like to do is can you go back to the embassy here in Lagos, show him all this paperwork, and he'll want to speak to you. I'm sorry, I know it's frustrating, but if you can go back to him, because Madam,
I'm begging.
No, please don't beg me. Please don't beg me. No, Madam, please don't beg me.
The pregnant woman did not make it to the USA. When she failed to turn up at the American Embassy, her visa was cancelled.
All right, that's that video right there. And there've been a lot of hate comments concerning the white lady you've seen right there named Sarah. And I just think she's only doing her job, although some other persons understand that there are laws and policies guiding things like this. We've known that when you are pregnant and almost due, you don't get to use flights and you just remain wherever it is you are. But I don't know why people still try and struggle. She just 2 weeks to 3 weeks due to get birth her child. But my major concern here is this woman, which is the Sarah woman, who kept on saying that the reason why most of these women in Nigeria travel is because they want to birth their child abroad in USA so that the child can actually become a citizen. Do you have a problem with the woman birthing her child in USA and her child automatically becoming a citizen, or you have a problem with her flying at that that week-long pregnancy? She's 37 weeks gone. Do you have a problem with that? Are you trying to seek her safety, or you don't want her to give birth to her child in the USA? There are two different meanings. There are two different things. But she kept on hammering on the fact that a lot of Nigerians or a lot of foreigners want to go to the USA to give birth to their children so that their children can automatically have citizenship. That doesn't happen in the UK. Well, let's take a look at some comments of some of these people and let's know what exactly people think about it. So many hate comments, like I said, but we had to filter that out because everyone needs to know that there are policies and rules, guidelines that guiding this particular movement, especially when it comes to the airport. All right, the first comment here is coming from John, and John says, crazy, but generally speaking, depending on where you are born in the world, determines the opportunities afforded to you in your life. While I don't think it's safe to travel at the 7 weeks, I do understand her efforts to better her life and her child's life very well. A lot of persons try to run away from the harsh realities of the country right now. You're running away from insecurity, you're running away from the economic struggle and all of that, and so many persons just want their child to have dual citizenship. It's not like they just want to leave their country. So I think some of these people should also consider, but then it is life-threatening. It is a risky thing to travel at 37 weeks as a pregnant woman. Well, second comment is coming from Vanessa, and Vanessa says, anyone making this about race doesn't know airline laws. Most airlines in the world won't allow you to travel at 37 weeks. So it's literally nothing to do with race in this case, because if anything happens to her baby, the airline will be held responsible for allowing her to fly. Thank you, Vanessa, for educating some of these people right there. And the last comment is coming from Bob Hooker, and Hooker says, I cannot believe I live in a world where Americans won't understand. People just want to be American without special rights or benefits. Just to be safe, able to work and have freedom. It might not be legal, but I can understand it. Yeah, I understand. I think this person has just been very passionate about this whole situation right there. But we need to know, like I said earlier, that there are rules and there are laws guiding airport authorities. You are not allowed to fly at that that stage of pregnancy. This is 37 weeks. It is more risky to fly at that stage, and if anything happens to you, just like one of the commenters said, if anything happens to you or the baby, the airline will be held responsible, and that's a lot of money to pay. You're going to face the law. So I think we should all learn a thing or two. If you're planning on traveling to anywhere in the world at this stage, 37 weeks, 30 to 37 weeks of pregnancy, you should know that no airline will accept you, and if they accept you, it is at their own risk. I understand that some persons give birth at 37 weeks, some even less than, and some even more, but let's safety first. I understand we want to also give our children a very good life. We want to also have this dual citizenship. We want to run away from the harsh economic of Nigeria and also the security threats right now in Nigeria, but all I need you to know is that your life first before anything comes up. All right, that's the much we can take today on Social Pulse on Global Morning. I remain Ogochukwu now. I'll be leaving in the hands of Jumai and Ramsey as they usher us into the discussion section of Global Morning. So stay with us. Good morning once again, Nigerians and viewers around the world. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Boss Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Well, thank you everyone for staying with us in Global Morning today. We are going into the first discussion right now. Well, from the national dailies, you heard so much about the primaries, people who are already in power wanting to return back. Some were asked after the primaries and some got their way through. But then, this is people wanting to get into power, including the presidency. The primary election from the presidency is done and dusted. But then, what has been done in the past years? 2027 general election is around the corner. But have you done an assessment of this administration going into 2027? That's going to form the basis for our discussion today, as we have a political analyst and a tax expert with us today in the person of Hafiz Ismaila, who is also a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Nigeria. It's good to have you join us, Mr. Hafiz.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good morning, Mr. Hafiz. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Yes, let's get into the conversation. general election is around the corner. And you don't need to be told before you know that a lot of politicking going on the ground, everywhere. But in some parts of the world, before election come like this, the only basis is what makes a candidate sure of his or her return is their performance. Because the power to get you back into office is in the hand of the electorate. But in Nigeria, it seems to be a different ball game. So now, let's begin from this administration. And you can't talk about this administration without talking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. First of all, before we get down to the Senate and to the House of Rep, down to the governors who are taking home so much right now. So what do you think of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration as it has to do with what Nigerians are feeling at the moment?
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me, because the topic that I'm actually putting in front of me is a very comprehensive one. Very comprehensive and very dicey. And I think I would love to answer you in phases so that I can actually get the message direct to people. Because we're talking about administration and we're also talking about politics. And also remember that we can't remove insecurity as part of it too as well.
And we can't remove the tax reform.
And tax reform.
Things. Yeah. I don't think we can finish all today.
So it's a very comprehensive topic.
Yes, it is.
And let's go back to the memory lane when this man take up this job. Because he asked for it and he got the job with 8 points, about over 8 million naira. 8 million votes of Nigerians who actually elected him. And on the first day he got into the office, before he even get to as well, one of the key decisions he did was subsidy removal, which many Nigerians feel is too harsh. But if they don't remove subsidy, it would have consumed us by now. Because at that time, Nigeria is already bankrupt. And we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder. It's just awaiting an explosion to happen. Which the removal of subsidy was a good step in the right direction. But people were now asking some question that, now that they have removed subsidy, what are they now using the money for? Forgetting the fact that the subsidy in question was being funded by loan, not by revenue. That means Nigeria is taking loan for consumption. By financing subsidy, they were not taking loan for production. And if you look at it, is the richer that are benefiting more? Not even, because how many cars did I have? Which means that per liter of fuel people buy, there's an amount that government is paying for that individual. So for someone that has like 5 cars, that have like 10 cars, will benefit more than you and I that just have just one single car. That kind of money can be channeled to other areas. Now, the reality now is that when the government removes subsidy, the savings from the subsidy that could have been used to finance, where has it gone to? We have now seen that at subnational levels, there have been increase in allocations to states. The question now is that people should go and ask their governors, what are they using those allocations for? The president is taking the insult, well, why the governors are getting the money? So that should be the fundamental question. Every state, every people in each state should ask their government, what are they using their money for? I'm from Lagos State. I can see evidence. Even a FCT, that is not a state, that is just federal capital technically. I don't like Wike as a person. But the reality today is that you can't say something bad about Wike, I will fight you. Because I'm benefiting from what he has done in the past 3 years. Whichever way you want to look at it, you just have to like him. Because look at Abuja 3 years ago and Abuja now. Anybody can tell me that most of the projects that Wike completed in Abuja today were just being awarded in administration. No, they have been there. That there was a continuity in government, yes or no?
Yes.
For the past 3 weeks now, you'll be hearing opening roads here in the other satellite towns.
It's a marathon commission.
It's a marathon commission. Yes. Within just 1 month. Now, tell how many states has done that? So that means that the savings from subsidy must have helped, because all those projects must have been financed in one way or the other. That is on the aspect of subsidy today. At least we can now see, even though in Abuja here, you can really drive around within 10-15 minutes, you can connect some places. That means it's actually working. Whether you like it or not, you just have to like it. That's number one. Number two, when this government also come on board, if you remember about what is it called, the FX unification.
Yes.
Now, before now, we don't really know the true value of our naira. But now that the FX is now being centralized, there's no more propriety between black market and official rate again. We now know the true value of our naira today. Now, unlike when some people just use their influence to get FX from the CBN and now come and sell at black market. And if you remember, the former CBN governor used to say that this aspect of round tripping, people becoming billionaire overnight, need to really stop. That was depleting the federal government reserves. And that will actually affect our level of credit rating at the international level. Now, see today now, you can really know the true value of our naira, and there has been stability in the FX market for the past 1 year. Go and check. It has been between the range of 1,300 to 400 thereabout at minimum, which means that people that have relationship with international vendor, international supplier, they can actually do contract very well, and everybody will be okay. The area of just doing this, just doing that, have actually stopped. That's number two. Number three, look at NELFund. Now, Nigerian students can take loan. People that don't have that financial capacity to pay tuition fees. Now the government have been able to set agents. If you don't, just go and apply. We will pay your school fees, we will pay your tuition fee, and we'll also be giving you monthly allowance that will be paid into your account. Then when you finish your school, you can now repay. I can tell you, this will really go a long way. Somebody like me, I'm a beneficiary of scholarship, and I'm proud to say it. When I was in primary, I went to a private school for my nursery, and primary. But when I was in secondary school, it was free. It was a modern college. I already paid the boarding feeding for the school aspect. Lagos State government was taking care of that. I finished from there. I went to LASU. Once I paid my school fees, the state government will refund it back to us. Even though if you now qualify for scholarship, they will still give you. As I speak to you today, I'm still entitled to scholarship in Lagos State. In fact, they still come about a month ago that the one I applied for my MSc, I should just go and get a confirmation from my school so that they can pay me up to PhD level. As I speak today, I'm still entitled to scholarship in Lagos State. So that is scholarship. Now I see what it has brought to me today, because I've been able to develop myself. I've been able to build up my skill. I got qualified as a chartered accountant before I finished my youth service. It was because I have access to those funds. Then I could finance those aspects of my professional career. NELFund is there. People are benefiting. Another aspect this government have also done is we now have Southwest Commission, South Development Commission, Northeast Development Commission, more like a regional government. I see something in second tenure, but I don't want to speak because of security issue. But I can bet that by the time we get to the second tenure of this government, a lot will happen. There may even be competition between the regional, the governor of some state with the people that the CEO that will man, the DG or the CEO that will man those regional development commission, because they will be signed with the mandate of providing infrastructure, education, and so on, and they will be funded directly from the federal government, and that will actually reduce, cushion some effects to the general populace. So, which means that Nigeria is actually going in the right direction. Now, look at our what is it called, tax reform. The tax reform that came on board, whether we like it or not, by the time it is being fully implemented, is going to increase the level of fiscal receipts to the government, whether we like it or not. And the moment you increase the level of fiscal receipts to the government, that will make government to have much funds, much liquidity to finance critical infrastructure and embark on projects that will actually have material impact on Nigeria as a whole. We have the minimum wage increase. I think it was the Donald administration that increased minimum wage from 35,000 naira to 70,000. Yes. And they're also thinking of also increasing it now, because I think I got a conversation around that some weeks ago.
Do you think it's visible though?
To
the increments in minimum wage, is it visible?
It's visible if the government has the liquidity to fund it. Because the reality is that what can 7,000 do for you, madam? Okay, to even eat in a restaurant with you and your kids and your family, I'm sure you have to spend more than 70,000 naira.
Sure.
And you want that kind of money to keep some people for 22 days. No, it can't really work. Government really needs to do something about that particular aspect. The reality is that a lot of things have changed. We also need to change our mindset. We also need to change our orientations too as well.
I expected you to talk about the biting situation of the economy. The biting situation, the biting nature of the economy after subsidy removal.
Yeah, sir, the reality is that when there are reforms is being done, there's something called gestation period. Before people now begin to feel the impact. You understand? What I would have advised government to do more is to see how they can provide some interventions to cushion the effect, which I believe they have actually been doing, but there is no enough communication about it.
But let me ask, are we in the gestation period now?
Well, yeah, it's a gestation period. You can't just bring a reform I think immediately people will begin to feel the effect. It will take a while. Now, I can tell you one thing that I know personally. Almost go and if you drive around, if you travel and you don't drive around, almost all Nigerian roads have been worked on. As I speak, because I did a road trip about some months ago. Abuja to Lokoja is being worked on. Ore to Akure is being worked on. Concrete. Ore to Shagamu is being worked on as I speak to you now. This one is not what they told me, is what I saw with my eye.
Abuja to Benue completed. And our waiter still in progress, all concrete, I'm aware.
Kano to Maduguri, with what I heard is being worked on. I didn't sit down. But from what is it called? Is it Funta to Safara is being worked on. So all these ways I mentioned, I actually passed through them. So now that they told me, money is being gotten from somewhere to do those roads. Now let me tell you the effect. If they are using concrete, that is cement, yes or no? That will increase the production capacity of suppose a company like Dangote and Bua, yes or no? The moment the output is increased, they will employ more people, yes or no? And all these roads that I say they are doing, they will definitely be the unskilled people that will be employed. Okay, and this one is even close by. Abuja to Kaduna, as I speak to you, is also being worked on, concrete. You will see those people, those contractors. So those are areas where benefit can also come to actually cushion the effect. Another aspect I also love the government to do more is to see how they can provide interventions to SMEs, because they control, SME control about 70% of the economy. But sir, 2 million, 1 million, 3 million can go a long way for some businesses.
Sure.
When the first lady was speaking 2 weeks ago, was it last week or so, that was talking about kuli or akara, and people misinterpreted what she was saying. I just laughed. There are some people that they just have certificates, but nothing is upstairs. You see, we put esteem into some jobs, don't look at the cash flow. I'll do one typical example. I was in Kaduna 2 weeks ago. I used to go to one place to drink chai, tea every night with my team that are working with me. I buy one job 3,000 every night. There was a day I had to do head count. I counted more than 50 people that came to that shop to buy tea. Whether you like it or not, that man will make nothing less than 1,000 per jog. Multiply 1,000 by 50,000. By 50 people, that is 50,000, yes or no?
True.
Now that 50,000, if that guy gets, if you do for 5 days, that is 250. It's better than people that are doing 9 to 5. The question I will now ask you that, how much do you think it to take that guy to set up a chai shop? He can't spend more than 500,000 1 million. The major thing you buy there is probably chair, table. Those are things that are consumers of his money. And the moment you have those things in place, the production cost is very low. That means that you're getting about 200,000 as working capital for that business, but you'll be cashing out on a daily basis. I have colleagues when I was in the bank that resigned that started a laundry business, and they will come to the bank to pick up our clothes, bring it, deliver for us. You come when they say, this is better than what we are doing. We'll put into some things. For you can have certificates is another thing. To make it is now what value can you add to the economy, or what value can you create? Businesses don't pay for certificates. Businesses pay for solution. And value. I can do it for you. My project fee can cover what you earn for 1 month. Sometimes you decide to say want to resign from the organization today. If you are so management to pay for another meeting as your guy, what do you want? Do you want us to increase your salary? So look, President Bola Tinubu have done a lot. All what we just do now is a consolidation to now see how it will make impact to a common man. We have the state police, we have local government autonomy, which I believe that it will definitely and it will, because the local are more closer to the grassroots. If they are well funded, a lot will happen. I see evidence in my own local government. Eredu, Monsuru, he is doing a lot. There's one particular man who is the chairman of local government in Lagos State. He was the chairman, I think, in Beduleki also. He's also doing a lot. And many of them are also doing it, which means that if they are properly funded, the grassroots will really benefit a lot from it. The reality is that we just have to be patient.
You know, what about the problem between governors and this council chairman? Because the issue of autonomy,
yes,
you know, some of them are not really autonomous as it is.
Yes.
And it is a problem. This is a case that went as far as the court.
Yes, Supreme Court.
But now, the governors are becoming too powerful. And it's one of the things that Nigerians are pointing an accusing finger to the federal government for. Because if you're giving me a huge FAC, and of course this money is supposed to get to the local government, and it's not getting there, and they know that there is somebody at the middle who is sapping this thing off to the detriment of the people at the local government, and nothing is being done. What do you think about that? Because we know it's a good one, when in fact a lot of people were excited when the federal government took the governors to court for the local government autonomy, but everything is on paper. I'm excited that we're given sample of council chairmen that are doing very well, but a lot of them are complaining.
Sir, you see this question you've asked about this local government autonomy. Truly, the president have the yam and also have the knife. But in life, you have to be diplomatic. Okay. When leadership comes to play, there are some forces that is even there beyond you. But for security reasons, I would be loved if you invite me again after the election to come and discuss on this matter. The reason why I said so is that there are a lot of things I've said in the past. There are a lot of things I've said probably before now that came to pass. And people were asking me, are you working in NASWORK? I said no. It's just my instinct. I will just say it and it will not happen. You see this thing you just said? I would love that after election,
we'll discuss
about back here. I will. And I know it will happen. But for security reason, after election, bring me back. I will discuss more. Okay. On local government autonomy and this development commission, yes, that has been established by this administration. But I can bet you, sir, by the time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will finish it 8 years, if it is possible, some Nigerians will be begging him to go for totem. A lot will happen in this new tenure that we are going into. But I don't want to speak now until after election. For security reasons, permit me, please.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's delve into insecurity now. Yeah. Has this present government done enough when it comes to tackling this issue that is bedeviling our nation?
You see, insecurity, we have civil servant bandits.
What do you mean? Throw more light.
Civil servant bandits. There are people in government that don't want things to work. You know, when you have a system and you are checkmating that system and you want the right thing to be done, the people that is benefiting will be frustrating your efforts. That is number one. Number two, you see, all these guys in the bush are not the problem. Even though some of them are innocent of what they are doing.
What do you mean?
I don't think 47 cost a lot, yes or no?
Yes, it does.
True, yes, it does.
It costs a lot.
Yes.
How do you expect a boy of 20, 25 to have an AK? What work has he done to buy that gun? Somebody must have supplied them.
They are financiers.
Those are the people we need to chase. I don't expect seeing a bandit now, the next thing let us burn him. No, let's interview him. Who recruit you to do this job? If we don't stop those people and we are just dealing with the foot soldier, it will still continue. These are the areas we need government need to work on. And I mean, I've said it, there are 3 things government need to work on to actually resolve this aspect of this insecurity. Number one, thank God for Awolowo, late Awolowo in Southwest. You see, Western education goes a long way. My brother, you are seated here today. Can somebody tell you to go and carry gun? No, because you are educated, yes or no? Most of all these guys in the bush are not educated. They've manipulated their thinking, they've manipulated their psychology. because they are not educated. If they are, they won't try it. So see, government need to bring out a law. Every Nigerian child deserves to go to school. If you go to North today, you will see boy of 10, 8, 5, 6 on the street with one small rubber begging for money. These are people that should be in school. By the time they go to a particular point, somebody can easily manipulate and say, you have to take this gun, go and do X, Y, Z. Western education is key in addressing insecurity in Nigeria. Because nobody can tell me and say, if you go and carry a gun, I'll look at you twice. Are you okay? Number 2 is that we need to have a planned economy. All of us cannot wear suits. All of us cannot work in the bank. But how can government see way of providing interventions to Nigerian youth so that people are really engaged? Or that if you are engaged, you won't go to the bush.
But then, let me ask.
There's the third one, sir.
Okay.
You see, federal government needs to work with all local government chairmen that share border with neighboring countries and see how our borders can be fenced. If our borders is being fenced, it will protect illegal immigrants into the country. Because for me, an illegal immigrant is a criminal.
Not all.
Well, no, you have to come to the right channel. Can you go to?
If it is illegal, it's illegal. Yes, that's criminal. If it is legal, it is not criminal. But if it's illegal, it's criminal.
All our borders need to be fenced. Government should work with local government chairman that share.
But is it possible to fence the whole Nigeria? Is it possible to fence the whole Nigeria? Or you mean mountain security operatives?
They should fence our borders. They should fence.
Okay, the borders.
The borders should be fenced. It should be. It's a national project. Because when I like it or not, one local government share border with a particular country. Yes or no? Go and check.
It does.
It does. Yes.
And there's local government chairman there. They should look at the map out those local governments that share borders with neighboring countries, and see how they will be given directive to ensure that those borders are well fenced. And let's make sure that out of school children, there's a policy that makes sure that the Ministry of Education should ensure to bring out a policy that any child not found in school is a criminal. They should ensure that every child deserves to go to school.
Meaning the federal government will have to train them.
Yeah, they have to go. No, Lagos State education is free.
That's Lagos State. What about other states, especially in the north? What about other states in the north?
The government should make provisions for that. They should make it free.
Free education.
Yes.
Because I could remember the free feeding program for primary schools. But now, there's a question I wanted to ask. You talked about the issue of tackling, all right, the source of the insecurity,
yes,
which is the financiers.
Yes.
Are you now saying this administration don't know the financiers? So why are they not being brought to book, face the law, and ensure this thing come to an end?
Because, I can't give what I don't have. The question is whether they know them, whether they don't know them. All I know is that there's a supply chain. Although we are in area of technology today. We have GPS locations and everything. Those guys are staying in the bush, yes or no? We have digital cameras. All the routes to those bush should be blocked. If they are not, they won't get any supply, yes or no? Our people need to be doing surveillance both morning, day and night. But the reality is that we are not ready to do the right thing as a Nigerian. We can't really put everything on government because these guys have informants among us. So it's difficult to fight. They don't have informants in government. And why I said so is that I played journalism when I was in university. And I was a strong leader in school, in LASU. Something normally happens and I ask myself a question. Anytime we are taking a decision that we want to do a protest the following morning, before that morning, management, they are aware that we are about to do it. When management to also take decisions from their own end, before they step out from that meeting, we, the student, not also aware. So which means that some of us is giving information to the management, and also have people in management that are also giving information to us as well. So how will it now work? We have informants. People are benefiting from this crisis, whether we like it or not. So is this a crisis? That's when you are a leader. That things behind you, there are things you don't see. And the most annoying part is that most of all these our leader, the DG, the president, the senator, people, the kitchen cabinet, people working around them, we always tell them what they would like to hear. Kiss ass. They will tell you what they would like to hear. They will never tell them the truth. It's only few. You see, go and look at the Nigerian workforce. It's only few employees that have that mind to always tell their boss the truth. That is when I was in the bank. I know one of my divisional head there. Anytime she wants to hear the truth among us, and the person will call, say, Hafiz, what can you have to say? And I will say it. But I paid for it. I was not promoted.
But you are ready to say the truth.
But I was ready to say the truth. I came live, I told him, man, in this division, these are the areas I even had a private meeting with her. I said, man, in this division, these are the areas I want you to address. If you do X, Y, Z, I can tell you there will be improving performance. One of my guy came to me and said, what is your problem? But I want the right thing to be done. You understand? So we have informant. So it's a very difficult battle. Because information is power. Before somebody will come and strike in this office and the person is successful, there's an insider that have leaked information. Because I can't know the way your room is if I have not come to your room. Yes or no?
True.
That is the truth. All these things happen. There is insider who are providing information. And that is why the government is willing to step up. We are in an era of technology now. They need to invest more. So it's a very dicey situation. So the reality is that for me, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have done well. We'll just keep praying that may God keep him. And my prayer is that let a common man also benefit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm just saying. You didn't talk about power because even Aso Rock have switched to solar. You didn't talk about power. Nigerians are facing so much, and businesses are crumbling.
Yes,
you didn't talk about power.
Power is a key. You know, if you look at the issue of power in Nigeria, not even before this administration, I think there is a cabal or a cartel in that industry that maybe the people that are importing generators, they are the ones that they don't want it to actually work. And thank you for this administration that they've now signed a bill that every state can generate power on their own. So now we have people that are not doing this solar, even though with 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, you can actually get power. Now, you understand? But you know, Nigeria is a complex state. A complex in the sense that, you know, too much of ethnicity, too much of religion, we put too much of ethnicity and religion in what we do. And that is the reason why we are here today. Until all of us see ourselves as one, we won't move forward though. So the power issue, there is a lot in that, a lot that actually can be said. And you know, as it is now, it can only take results. But you talk about election. Like I said, it was a two-phase. You know, for election, I tell people, the Nigerian election is caused by money. And it can only take divine intervention to rescue us from that. It's being caused by money. If you don't have money, forget it. Even though if you have the most brilliant idea of this world, as far as money does not follow, you are just yourself. Because election is won at the polling unit. Election is not won on social media. It's won at the polling unit. So the question we go to each polling unit.
But is the Nigerian election really being won at the polling unit?
Sir, it's at polling. If it is not, some people last election will not be there. People like the current senator of FCT. Because I could remember last election in my estate, I was only APC candidate. All the big men of my estate voted Labour Party, and they stood till 11 p.m. They make sure that the vote was actually being counted. They supervised all those guys to the central polling unit, and the Labour Party won in my estate with a wide margin. As they were voting Peter Obi, they were voting the other Labour Party candidate. There was someone that said it was a bike man that won in Kaduna too as well. Yes or no? So I'm not saying that the election is not being election
even defected to the APC and it's not returning. Won in Kaduna.
I don't say election is being won at the polling unit, not on social media. And Nigerian election is caused by money. You see, people believe that money that they are giving them is legal. It's a legal money that they just have to. If you see the way people are doing and they want to collect the money,
I want to ask.
So it's wrong. Very, very wrong. I remember was it in 2019 when everybody was the first time of everybody when I went to vote for election in Lagos from Abuja, and I was about leaving. Somebody now approached me that I should come and write my name. I said for what? He said because they will give me 1,000. I said look at me. I flew from Abuja to Lagos to come and vote. I spent almost 50,000 for my return ticket, and you asked me to go and queue and collect 1,000. Are you okay? But it's not. But you know this thing border on personality. Everybody cannot be like Hafiz. So that is just the reality. You see, the issue of election, forget performance. Nigerian election is caused by money. We can only take divine intervention, God, to remove that from us. But let's just see how everything can benefit all of us. Our prayer is that let the president have the mind of the masses in his act. That should be our prayer. Let him remember a common man. That my grandmother in the village, how can he feed? You understand? Our Nigerian youth, how can they be getting fully well employed? What kind of interventions can they? I see, Oga, 500, 1 million, 2 million can go a long way in some people's business in Nigeria.
Sure.
And that was what the First Lady was trying to
explain. It can easily go a long way, Oga, and they'll be cashing out. Look at the tea that I've used as an example. As I'm even thinking now, as I speak to you now, that next year, what is it called? If I have somebody that can help me to sell that in my village, I'll go and put that stand there. See, what makes you a big boy is they ask you for 5 minutes, can dip inside your pocket and bring it out. It's not what you are doing. As far as what you are doing is legit. I'm a fellow. Today I sell gari, I sell kuli. I sell all the fufu powder. I even have it in my car. Packed, labeled. That is the reality. I just have to make money because I want to live the kind of life I want. And that is just typical truth. We put too much esteem. 500,000, sir. 1 million can go a long way in some people's business if you give it to them as a grant. And they will create value to the economy.
Now, what practical step can this government take to build the public's confidence when it comes to governance and leadership?
Our limiting factor is communication. Today, that communication is not there. There are a lot of government programs that people are not aware. I just completed a project not quite long for one of the development financial institutions in Nigeria. I never knew that there are some interventions that you and I can apply for until I embark on that project. And somebody told me that whenever this intervention comes, the people in charge will call their own people to it.
So it doesn't get to the masses.
It is there, but people will not be. That's actually communication. Communication is the.
That's what I mean, and that means it doesn't get to the masses.
It gets to the few people of their own people because they got the information. Because they got the information.
If you are not informed, you are deformed.
You are deformed.
Exactly.
Communication. So the government need to see how they need to work in a way and manner that Nigerians have been aware of every single policy per time, communicated in everybody's local dialect. So people, that my person in the village, know exactly that this is what is actually going on. It's not that the government are not doing, we are doing, but information is not getting out if you are not close to the people that are there.
And there's so many reforms.
There are so many reforms. Yeah. Go to a Bank of Industry website, you will see. Go to Development Bank of Nigeria, you will see. Go to Bank of Industry, you will see.
Bureau of Public Procurement.
Go to their website, you will see. The reality is that the people they are there, they can even tell you, maybe you have access to my file, go and meet if you need us to help you. These are areas that need to be checkmate. The whistleblowing policy of it, I don't think that is really working. But sir, to solve the practical issue is we need to work on our communication channel in Nigeria. That gap is too wide. People are not really aware of what the government is doing. At least now, here to have mentioned almost like 5 or 6 things that this government have done. It's not everybody that knows that these things are there. You understand? And when reforms comes, like I said, there is always a gestation period. A time will come, the gains will be consolidated, and everybody will feel the impact. It's just a matter of time. We just have to be patient. The truth of the matter is that all of us are feeling it. If I go to the market today, that nobody wants to know that I'm an APC member or I'm supporting Tinubu.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Hafiz. It's been a very wonderful time we've had right here on the program. Like you said, we'll be having you much more even before the election and after the election. Because we have a deal to say something. I have a lot to say after that. So I guess I will not come and do for
you know, the reason why I said so that there was something I said that actually happened. And I did foresee it. Okay. I just said it jokingly that XYZ, and it actually happened.
So you will still have some that,
and I still have some reserve.
So we get to know them. Thank you very much, Hafiz, for joining us on Global Morning today. All right, everyone. This is the size of the first conversation. We are coming up with a second conversation, and we'll look at the polity and see what is happening. The rancor, at least there is some form of battles that we need to talk about, and all of that will come on your way after this break. Stay with us.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Many thanks for staying with us on Global Morning today. Now we are going straight into the second discussion for today. And of course, we will be looking at the political parties' battles coming into 2027. We've had so much beginning from the primaries. Even before the primaries, there were a lot of permutations. This does not include just one political party. Every party is having their ups and downs. And as we speak, some persons are not even certain about certain things, even though we saw today in the papers how some senators are not returning and how a particular senatorial candidate in Benue State, Suswan, was actually, according to what we heard, is in the papers, that he was sacrificed so that there could be peace, all right, between the Benue State leadership and, of course, George Akume. We'll look at all of that in the conversation today. So we're looking at doing an assessment of the whole thing, political parties' preparedness. Is it affecting the economy? Is it too much politicking and forgetting about governance? And we have someone who is going to be doing justice to this discussion right here with us. He is the chairman of Independent Media and Policy Initiative. He's also a political analyst in the person of Chief Dr. Niyi Akinseju. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for making
it. Very simply, doctor.
Yes, it's good to have you. It's been a while, and it's good to have you on the program this morning. Yes, the preparedness of a lot of political parties going into 2027. We've seen that some will prepare, and they will get to a particular place, and you hear one court case, another court case. Some people said it is a strategy, all right, by maybe the political party in power. That's just an insinuation, allegedly. But then, from your own part, why are we having battles? Why are we having all of this rancor in political parties? This is both intra and inter.
Well, I don't think there's any inter here, because if you're talking inter, you're defining a relationship between parties. And at this level, if talking of primaries, it's not. It can't possibly be inter, because it would suggest that a party is determining or deciding what happens in the next party. My readings of the political environment does not show that. I think typical of Nigerians, we are very vivacious when it comes to politics, very vibrant, and I think politicians in respective parties, especially in the opposition parties, also understand the sentiments of Nigeria to cover their own weaknesses. So you have not done your due diligence, you have not put down a proper protocol of action and engagement, and of course, people ordinarily would take on such deficiencies or deficits, and then you blame it on a certain ruling party who is showing some kind of alleged monstrosity, as it were. So I think to a large extent, I want to first give credit, to politicians for being politicians in an environment like Nigeria. Let's first give credit. Because as individual politicians, you have people who are very brilliant, who are also very mischievous, and who also knows how to locate gaps and exploit the gaps. So if I am in NDC and I think there are gaps there, I'll take it on. I don't need the prompting of some big man somewhere to determine it. If I'm in ADC and there are gaps there, I'll take it on. Because there had always been the access to justice is not qualified in Nigeria. It's an open access. So you can see a gap, and with less than 200,000, you can engage that gap in the courts. So to a large extent, I think it's just Nigerians being Nigerians. I do not see any remote control, or manipulation of the process. So you talk about, if we want to be specific, you talk about ADC, an existing party, existing members, existing leadership, existing stakeholders. And then some set of people decided to also now come in and targeted the leadership. No existing leader would want to become SY leader without resisting. One way or the other, there will be some form of engagement. Does not need the prompting of anybody, because all of a sudden you have sat in a place of influence. And all of a sudden, somebody wants to put you off. You will resist. It's the Nigerian ways of doing things. And of course, thank God we are not, it's not resistance in violence. It's the resistance through the judiciary. And that's what we are seeing. Now we are seeing judges making rulings too, where some people are not also happy with the rulings. They castigate the rulings. They do all manners of things. And eventually, when the same judiciary, also corrects that, they are the same person that will come and hail the judiciary. And see, for me, in a way, we don't know that in escalating our judiciary, we are actually generally eroding public confidence and trust in the judiciary, because we look at one specific issue that is not aligned with our consciousness or with our aspiration, and we take on the judiciary as a whole. You don't do that. If we are thinking as a responsible, patriotic Nigeria, you must always respect institutions. And you do not, because something does not favor you, generalize whatever your feeling is, and then of course deride the institution. It is still coming back to haunt you. And that is why at this time I always appeal to politicians. I am also a peripheral player, in politics. So when I have the opportunity to engage with some of our colleagues, my appeal always is, let us take things easy. We are leaders. We understand issues perhaps more than the ordinary person on the street. We go out of our way to understudy issues, to read issues, and of course to even research issues. So because of that, we are better equipped to have an understanding of what the environment is. And in engaging the environment, we must also look at how to keep sacrosanct the essence of the environment, as it were. So to a large extent, this whole thing is just being Nigerian. I do not see, is a presidency so lacks so much to do that it will not be going after one party and the other, determining which person will become what in the party.
Sometimes it's not even the presidency. There is this set of people that we call them overzealous supporters. And these people sometimes go out of their way, sometimes even without the consent of these leaders, to do some things at the grassroots in form of rigging, trying to rig the election in the name of I delivered my polling unit and all of that. Don't you think that is a problem for the electorate? Because oftentimes people complain about leadership, and sometimes I think as an individual that this problem might not really be the leaders because of what happens at some very, very interior places where these things happen by some of the electorates themselves. What would you have to say about that going into 2027? Remember, we've had a lot of voter apathy as it has to do with the elections that we've had recently.
I think we need to focus the discussion. Let us. So we are here discussing the primaries, which is very internal. By going into that direction,
I'm saying this now because you said the president will not have the time, to do.
And so let's take a look at it from the context, of the internal democracy, so that we don't also now confuse whoever is watching us now. Understand the context of our discussion. And what's the context of our discussion? Is that some people in some other parties believe that the ruling party, is manipulating or activating, engineering distractions, disaffections in their parties. And I'm saying, no, I don't think so, because again, by evidence, by logic, and by data, it is obvious that whatever is happening to those entities are self-inflicted, because they do not also respect protocols. They have not done due diligence. You cannot come into somebody's party, move him away, push him away, all. Either ADC, NDC, but again, PDP.
PDP is...
It's still a party.
Yes.
It's still a party until... because if you get to the portal of INEC, you still see PDP. Which one of them is what we don't know. So now it's all politics. And the thing about politics, what defines politics, is the unpredictability of human relationship. Because politics is about people. It's about how we relate. It's about how we pursue power through our vision. And of course, how we also want to, retain the influence we have garnered over time in that political environment. So it's anybody that comes, it is always a contest. It's a contest between human beings, contest of vision, contest of attitude and all that. And in the contest, it's not a handshake. Contest is not a handshake. So you do not see it from a pyramid perspective. Somebody sitting at the apex and then controlling the base. No, every bit of a political environment is a contest between councillor and councillor, between someone that wants to become welfare secretary somewhere and another person that wants to become welfare secretary. It's a contest. Yes, at another level, you may also now have the apex, the leadership, also intervene. But in the Nigerian state that we are looking at, I really don't see any need for anybody to go and trigger disaffections in other parties.
Looking at what you've said, I've listened quietly, I've just watched and listened. Looking at it, with all of these major political parties that we have, the opposition that is, do you think they are prepared for the 2027 election?
Of course. Of course, you are at the last count.
Do you think they have basic strategies in place that we've not seen yet? Do you think they have something that is different from what we've seen before or experienced before?
You are talking now. Can we see strategies in place?
Exactly.
I have not seen strategies. I've not seen strategies.
You've not seen anything that we've not seen before?
I have seen a lot of noise. A lot of noise, a lot of distractions. Because, well, it's also part of politics because we are human beings. We are given to outrage tantrums, especially when we feel we are not getting our ways. We throw tantrums, and in throwing tantrums, you make a lot of noise. Strategies. Again, perhaps tantrums throwing is also part of the strategies. Because if somebody goes to court, and then the court rule against somebody, and then you now say it is because somebody did it, perhaps it's also a strategy. Because at the point in time, the whole noise we were hearing in the public space was that the ruling party was not going to allow any other party to contest. And at the last count, INEC came and said 9 political parties had registered, had uploaded their candidates. So you go back to them and to now, and you see, so what is happening here, what is wrong here, from 0 to 9, and they are still uploading. Perhaps at the end of the day, we may have up to 12, 15 presidential candidates, for instance. So those are the things you now wonder. Do we need to do that at this time, or do we need to start marshalling, pushing how best to run out the ruling party out of power? Can we start talking about policies? Can we? Because all the policies are also are in public space, and you can also measure their impact on people.
Exactly.
On individuals.
Let's focus on education, the health sector, transportation, insecurity, other aspects.
Those things. How are you going to better what is in the public space? How are you going to structure administratively the policies being deployed? How will they impact better than what we are having now? Those are the things we should be talking. Not about somebody that wants to erode your parties and all that. I don't think so. We are how many months to the election? Election was the presidential primary. Election was January. This is July. So give and take 6-7 months. For research has shown that for a single message to get to an individual in the larger society, you need to repeat that single message at least 200 times over a period of 1 year. For such person to even have an understanding and a good perception of what you are telling him or her, interpret it, to aggregate his own interest. So already there is a shortage of time for people to even get to hear what you are saying, and that the outcome of that is confusion. Because when you send a message out to somebody, I'm a communication practitioner. Communication is about you sending a message through a channel received by another person who is the recipient of the message, but that process is not completed until that person receives the message, gives meaning to it, and that meaning, equals the meaning the instigator, has in mind. If there is a discrepancy in meaning, there's confusion. And so if you are looking at it on that micro level, and then escalate it to this higher level, where people need to understand what is being said, that is even not their forte. So you are talking to someone that wants to vote. You are talking to him about engineering. You are talking to him about education. No, it's not best. Does not understand.
Exactly.
how long would you take you to persuade that person that what you are saying is the right thing, and that person should switch from wherever he's supporting and come over to you because you are presenting or you are giving that person a better option?
One of the problems in which we have is a channel of communication to individuals in the grassroots to actually understand why I should vote for you, the impact in which you will make if you vote for me and I come on board. I think that's the issue, basically. I keep telling my co-host, we hear numbers, trillions, and yet you go to the marketplace, and yet I cannot, if I take 50,000 naira to the market, and you're wondering, was I robbed? Did someone rob? Because you cannot understand what and what you bought.
Yeah.
Do you think politicians, political parties, they have a lot to do in breaking it down in the simplest form for people to understand why I should come on board and make a better living for you and I?
It's true. It's true. I agree. You know, especially in the area of advocacy. Unfortunately, advocacy of any sort is so much centered in Abuja. You know, people can take issues. People like you. Every morning you take issues that concerns the federal government, you know, and thoroughly beat it. Unfortunately, the federal government, even in terms of fact allocation, is just about 50% of the federation. What are we doing with the other 50%?
Exactly.
That's the problem. So how are we engaging issues at the state level? How are we engaging issues at the local government level? Local government are responsible for markets, parks, garages, and all that. And primary schools. Some people are talking primary school and they're coming to Abuja. Hey, no, it won't work. So we have politicians say our primary school is not being properly run.
Orientation. They don't have orientation.
The local government is responsible constitutionally for administration, payment of salaries of school and school teachers, you know, and primary health care centers. It's not whatever the federal is doing is just to, of course, we have UBEC and all that. It's just complementary, it's intervention, you know. So it's understanding these issues and also delimiting them to understand where they belong to. And also help Nigerians generally, just like you said, help Nigerians know where the tax belongs, where the responsibility is, who is responsible for what, you know, and they can now properly direct whatever grievances, attention or advocacy to the right place. So if you come to Abuja now and you start talking about primary school, I tell you, no, it's not Abuja. Go to your local government, go and talk to the chairman. You know, and let the chairman start engaging the people too. Because you will have, of course, it may not be the fault of the chairman.
Exactly. I was
for
going to
a
say
long
that.
time.
Exactly.
But have we given credit to the president who made it part of his, major trust to revive the local government administration?
How many governors have actually adhered to this autonomy?
It's better now. By relative analysis, you can say we have moved from 10% to 60%.
Okay.
It's a 10 to 60.
Yeah,
it's a major improvement.
That 10% spans more than 20 years of redundancy of a constitutionally recognized tier of government. It's murderous, you know, to kill a tier of government. And that tier, I have been an advocate of local government administration because I know that is where government is.
Very true.
That is where government is. The federal government presence are on the highways. Abuja to whatever expressway. That's why you see local government, federal government presence.
Yes.
But if you want, how do I call it? Nearness to power. If you are talking about nearness to power, you are going to the streets.
Very true.
You are going to the wars. And I know some people who have not gone all their life from cradle to grave and not gone beyond 200 square meters of their existence. 200 square meters. In that 200 square meters, you have their schools, you have their markets, you have their hospitals, you have their working places. 200 square meters. So if they need to now go to the capital, they will tell you that they are traveling. They're traveling to that place because their life, that is not where their life is. Their life is within that 200 square meters, not kilometers. So now, if you have a local government that is providing things for them within that 200 square meters, they are not bothered. Their primary school, it's properly equipped with good teachers. Their health centers properly equipped with the doctors. Markets are accessible. Farm land, because that is their sustenance. Farmlands are connected with roads to the capital. Dispensary, because those things used to be dispensary, not even the primary health care centers are also available. Their garages, are properly functional, and of course they can have multiple way that links their village, to the city center. That is all they need. And as far as I'm concerned, that is government. It has nothing to do even with the state capital, nothing to do with the federal capital. This is where it is. So, what are the messages Nigerian politicians are channeling, to those people? And that is where I have the larger percentage of Nigerians living. So those are the kind of things we should be talking about. Somebody wants to carry my party. Somebody is doing this with a party. Why didn't you structure your party very well?
All right, talking about structure now, let's get back to the primaries again, the battle. Okay. Because even today in the papers, we saw how some people's name, people who are jubilated.
I don't want to go there.
He doesn't want to go there.
And now
just they are not with the wedding garment. And these people are not satisfied
at all.
And you said something while you were speaking. You said all these people are just doing 1, 2, 3, 4 political parties and all of that. And these are parties that are not even well organized.
Yeah.
So invariably, what we are saying, what some people are saying about ideology, people are beginning to think now that they are not very clear with the ideologies of this political party. That is one, because somebody may think, say political party, you want to take over power. Is this the best way to go? Now, from the primaries, we heard, someone even told me that there was no primaries in his own. I'm talking about all the parties now, in particular about a political party. That primaries did not hold, that he was there from 6 a.m. until 6:30. After not seeing anything, they went back home and heard announcement. All right, the person was vying for a position. That's why I am seeing how important that grassroots that you are talking about now is.
Yeah,
I'm seeing how important it is.
So life is. That's where development.
Yes,
either political, economy, or whatever, should come from.
A lot of people ignore that. They don't know. So now, as it is, 2027 is around the corner. We just counted 6 to 7 months now.
Yes.
So, don't you think this could result in people, all right, working against their parties, even though they are in that party because they are aggrieved?
Of course.
Politicians.
Of course, it's part of it. But the other parallel for us to understand the context properly is the Supreme Court ruling that all these things are the internal wahala of political parties. You can understand even the psychological trajectory of the Supreme Court. Say, don't bring all this your wahala to us. Go and, except for where there are clear cases of breaches of rights and, of course, protection of the individual, because the Supreme Court understands the fact that everybody is in pursuit of something, and that is our first ideology in Nigeria anyway. If you are saying we don't have, we have. We use political party to pursue this securing or the acquiring of power. It's the first ideology, and of course nobody holds. As I call it, nobody has the right of claim over that ideology. Everybody, it belongs to all the parties. But talking about the dynamics in that pursuit, it's unfortunate it's run in this way, but in every party, just like in every entity, you have leadership, you have stakeholders, and of course you have ownership. Until we have real owners of political parties, and it's broad-based, it's general, we may not question, what is happening now. Because what is happening now is like parties belong to individuals or small circles of interest groups. And that's why you have ADC, for instance, transferred to somebody. You have NDC owned by somebody, invited people from outside. You get it? Even APC determine this is how we want to run this show, So it's those influence, the dominant influence, that determine what happens in the political parties and is allowed.
Okay.
When if you go to the US now, the candidates or the aspirants the president wants, he endorses them. And he says, this is where we want to go. And the MAGA base of the Republican go there. So it's not new. And that's what I'm saying, except we have this broad-based general ownership of political party where every individual has the right of claim. But then what would you have there? Confusion too. Because you have people who are not even knowledgeable about how to manage politics, come in and lay claim, to it. So historically, philosophically, politically, there will always be a small numbers of people managing a large number of people. It is historical, and it has been philosophically, confirmed, either from Aristotle's conceptualization of Plato and all that. The base of it is that you have you have this small elite group that understands what should be done and manage that larger group in good conscience. So the question is, how many do we have, how many leadership, the allies do we have that will relate with Nigerians in good conscience? So that should be our advocacy. If you are doing something, do it in good conscience, do it for public trust and for public good. In that way, it is likely that the things you do would favor the larger majority of the people.
All right. Do you think there is more attention on politicking than governance?
Well, so far, I don't think so, because you see the policies are being run. I think about 2 days ago, the FEC made some approvals, huge approvals. So, and in making that approval is not just is not by intuition. Before a process gets to FEC, there would have been researches, there would have been studies, there would have been memos and all that. So it's just that summary, that gets to FEC. So it tells me that there's a lot of work ongoing, In Abuja, near us here, we are seeing the minister opening all manners of places, commissioning roads, and all that. We have never experienced that in a long while, and I've been in Abuja for a long while, So I think it's ongoing, and of course, some of us are also following the indicators, the economic indicators. Is our inflation going to get better? We are seeing inflow of foreign exchange, foreign direct, foreign portfolio investment coming into the country. We are seeing our foreign reserve, blowing up, getting beyond what we should even be thinking of. We never did a 51 sitting in a foreign as as nets. Because sometimes you see that huge number, but they actually borrowed some, sold off some and all that. So if we have that net of 51, it's a huge thing. So we are looking, ASU is no longer, this year we have not seen ASU go on strike. It means that there's some sort of engagement. So to that extent, I think governance is ongoing. What has been the major primary concern of Nigeria or Nigerians is the cost of living. And then for some of us, I also understand the reason for that. We can excuse the government that you have taken a high risk. You have taken a high risk. Make sure you address this risk. Associated with it. So again, it is also the drawdown from a government that I believe so. From my own, I think the government or the country is. It could be difficult. Nobody is happy with cost of living. I know what I used to spend. I go for my shopping. And of course, inflation tells us that the higher the inflation, the lower the value that your money gives you. So it's not that simple. You take the same sum of money to the supermarket, to the market or whatever, you get lesser goods than when you used to take that same money, and get higher. But again, has that offset something? Is it that can we relate it with some other things? So if we are getting deficit here, are we getting somewhere on the other side? Balance. Are we getting more roads? Are we getting more schools? Are we getting better equipped hospitals and all that? That's the way I like to say it.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor, for this wonderful analysis.
A pleasure.
It's good to have you join us today. We'll invite you again. We'll have you again despite your busy schedules. Thanks so much for coming. We appreciate it. All right, everyone. Our time is up. We can't continue with the conversations anymore because we need to pave way for the next program. Thank you, everyone, for being part of Global Morning today. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see what will be the outcome of the general election in 2027. As a matter of fact, a lot of expectations. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. And of course...
And I am Jumai Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program. And thank you to our guest, Doctor, for being here. Have an amazing day ahead. And from Ramsey and I, we say bye-bye.